What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Media Goose channel. It is I, the Media Goose, your friend Ryan, and the goose is loose, baby. I am coming at you today with a mock draft. This is the first mock draft I'm doing solo, and I am very excited. The other two mocks I've done, the first one with Ryan, the second with Cody, were a ton of fun. But today I'm going to get the chance to talk about all these prospects. If you've enjoyed the mock drafts that I've done to this point and would like to be involved, just comment. If you know me personally, reach out via social media. But if not, just comment down below and we can figure out how to do it. Cody reached out one day, and I think that same day we did our mock draft. So it's all possible. Whether it's mock drafts, wrestling, Marvel, whatever you want to talk about, just let me know. So, guys, let's jump into this mock draft. Here we are. Excellent. All right, y'all. And the first overall pick is definitely one of the easiest, as that is going to be Fernando Mendoza. I don't know that I'd be that excited if I were the Raiders or their fans to just be getting the best quarterback, but not necessarily a number one pick worthy quarterback. I feel like his skill set and the way he's described would often be associated to a prospect not worth the number one overall pick. He's very safe, kind of like what we've seen out of the best version of Geno Smith. So I have my concerns. Moving on to number two, the New York Jets. This is one of the easier picks in the draft, in my opinion. I'm going Arvell Reese. I think that he's similar to Micah Parsons or Abdul Carter. He's played a lot of linebacker, but started playing more of the edge. He hasn't played as much edge in college as the other guys, but I think all of his skills translate to that well. So I think the Jets, my friend Cody made a good point as well. They got a long time. They're not about to win now, so they can figure out the best way to utilize Arvell Reese. Now for the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think any of the offensive tackles are worthy of this pick. So for me, this is going to be, I'm going to say that Ruben Bain falls in this scenario, at least out of the top three. And I am going to select David Bailey. No, I'm going to select Sonny Styles. I like the idea of them bringing in Sonny Styles to kind of quarterback that defense. And yeah, I just think in terms of best player available, he's clearly the guy there. So now we've got the Tennessee Titans at pick 4. There's a lot of love here for Jeremiah Love. I also think Carnell Tate deserves consideration. But I'm pretty sure they brought in John Franklin Myers. Otherwise, I would be strongly considering David Bailey. I am going to go with a guy that I think is a top 3 player in this class, Jeremiah Love. He's got some Jahmyr Gibbs I've seen as a regular comp. I see a little Brian Westbrook, maybe even, I don't know, Jonathan Taylor, where he's big and athletic. I think he's going to be really great right from the start. So now we've got my New York Giants on the board. I am going to attempt a trade down with the Kansas City Chiefs. They acquired that extra pick for, who'd they bring in? Or no, they traded away their corner. So they have pick 30 now as well. So I'm going to say that they are interested in moving up for a pass rusher. So the Giants are going to give 5 to get 9, 40, and 109. So a first, a second, and a fourth for pick 5, and that goes through. And I have the Kansas City Chiefs moving up in this scenario to take Ruben Bain Jr. I said he'd fall out of the top 3, but I don't see him falling much further than that. I think he's incredibly productive, hardworking guy, somebody I want on my defensive line. I don't think Spags would overthink it here. Steve Spagnuolo, I think, would get a lot out of Ruben Bain, can move all over that defensive line, no matter what down it is. So I like Ruben Bain there a lot, and I like Kansas City going up to make sure they get him. Now, for the Cleveland Browns, I am going to go with... There's been a lot of buzz about Monroe Freeling. I think this is too soon for him. I am going to take what I think is best player available here, and that's Carnell Tate. Keep the Ohio State kid in Ohio. Get whoever their quarterback is some weapons, and Carnell Tate staying in state, I think, is going to be a good pick. Now, we've got the Washington Commanders. The Commanders have a lot of holes. They would have loved for Jeremiah Love to be there. I think they even would have taken Carnell Tate. But for the way the board fell today, I am taking Caleb Downs for the Commanders. I think that Caleb Downs is a top 3 player in this class and should be a playmaker in the NFL. I got a lot of faith in him. So now we have the New Orleans Saints at pick 8. They need wide receiver, cornerback. They need an edge. And based on that, I think they are going to get the last of the top 10 worthy pass rushers in David Bailey. The New York Giants are now on the board. They move back to pick 9 with Kansas City. And the way the board fell here, I'm looking at the top 3 players, Francis Mawanoa, Mansour Delane, and Mekhi Lemon. Right now, the Giants need a wide receiver too, but I'm not taking that. They need corner and they need guard. I'm looking at Mawanoa and Mansour Delane. Call me crazy, but I'm going to take Mansour Delane. He ran that 4.38. He's crazy athletic, really good guy on the outside. I think that the Giants need a lot of help at corner, especially with Deonte Banks not being playable, frankly. So I'm going to go Mansour Delane here. You move back a little bit, get an extra, I think they got an extra 3rd-round pick. So Mansour Delane's a great value at pick 9. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals, who are pretty upset that neither Delane nor Caleb Downs made it to them. Jermod McCoy could be in play. But I am going to go with Keldrick Falk, pass rusher out of Auburn. I think he's going to be really good. I like his tools. Kind of reminds me of like an OCU Manora play type. And I think he's going to be an every down kind of player. I like Keldrick Falk a lot, and he's young, so he's got time to continue growing. Now I've got the Miami Dolphins. This is a really popular pick to go wide receiver and corner, but Francis Mawanoa is there, and I think when rebuilding, you should do it through the trenches. So I'm going Francis Mawanoa at pick 11. The Dallas Cowboys are up at number 12. And I am going to project a trade here. I am going to say that the Jets want to come up and have their pick of the 2 wide receivers that are left. And since Mansour Delane and Caleb Downs are gone, I am going to say Dallas is willing to move back since they don't have clear secondary help available. So for pick 12, we'll give you 16 and 44, and you kick back 112. Throw in 92 and 1. So the Jets don't really want to move up. Who else could look to move up here? Let's say Detroit. Detroit really needs a tackle, and I think if they move up here, they have their pick of Freeling and Fano, and I think they want to have their choice here. So let's see if we can make that work. Pick 12. I'll make it real easy for 17 and 50. Move back 5 spots, and they do. So in this scenario, the Detroit Lions move up for the opportunity to take their left tackle of the future, Monroe Freeling. That allows them to keep Penei Sewell at right tackle. It also put them ahead of the Rams, who I have. They also need tackle. But based on the wide receivers falling, I am going to have them taking Mekhi Lemon. I think that Mekhi Lemon there is, I think Tyson is more of an obvious fit, but I just like the explosion of Mekhi Lemon and the big playability, run after the catch, maybe even punt returning. So now we are up for the Baltimore Ravens. I think this is one of the easier picks in the draft, a guy that I have as a top 5 player, Vega Ioane. Then we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They need edge, they need linebacker, defensive tackle, safety, guard. Fano is the only tackle left. Would anybody move up for Spencer Fano? For right now, I'm going to say no, and I am going to go. They need a guard. I'm going to say they take Spencer Fano. Spencer Fano can play all 5 positions on the offensive line, and just a great value here. The New York Jets are back up, and I had them landing Arvell Reese with the 2nd overall pick, and they are thrilled to be landing Jordan Tyson to pair opposite of Garrett Wilson. Coming away with arguably a lot of people's number 1 receiver and the number 1 pass rusher is a pretty ideal turnout for the Jets. Now we are up with the Dallas Cowboys, who move back, and I'm going to have them take Dylan Thieneman, the safety out of Oregon. I think that they need a lot of secondary help, and Thieneman's the best guy on the board. Now I've got the Minnesota Vikings up. They need corner, D tackle, safety. I'm going to give them best player available and say that they go with Dermod McCoy. The Carolina Panthers are here. They could use a tackle. Caleb Lomu's there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give them Caleb Lomu. I think they could be tempted by some pass catchers, but they end up playing it safe and going Caleb Lomu. Now, Dallas is up at 20 after having taken Dylan Thieneman, and they're going to double down on the cornerback room here, I think, or on the secondary. I'm looking at Avion Terrell. But you know what? I think Dallas sees themselves as closer than they are, so I think Jerry Jones is going to go Akeem Messidor, getting a pass rusher who can come in playing at a high level right away. Now I've got the Steelers. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, guard, linebacker, I don't really see wide receiver as a need after they brought in Michael Pittman. I am going to go with C.J. Allen here for the Steelers. I like C.J. Allen a lot as a linebacker. Would love to see him end up on the Giants. Here for the Los Angeles Chargers, I've made this pick a lot. I just think it's a coach and a player fit for Peter Woods going there. Harbaugh loves his defensive tackles at Michigan, so I like that pick a lot. Now, the Eagles. They need edge. They need tackle. I see Caden Proctor as a Philly kind of guy. I think he makes sense for the player mold. They like big athletes. He's huge. The Browns, who came away with Carnell Tate, are now going to take the best player on their board. I would love an offensive lineman here. And that's what I'm going to do. I don't know why this website has the guards ranked so low, but Basantis and Pregnon are first-round players in my book, and I'm going to go with Emmanuel Pregnon. I think those two are safe picks at guard. Now I've got the Bears up. I am going to say they go with Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Get some help on the back end of the room there. I think they might be losing Jaquan Brisker. So Emmanuel McNeil Warren gets them a good box safety. I don't know why Kenyon Sadiq always falls for me. For the Bills, I'm going to give them Omar Cooper Jr. I think I've compared him to Odell before with his run after the catch, and I think Buffalo could use a guy like that. They brought in DJ Moore. They overpaid for DJ Moore, but I don't think that answers their wide receiver problems completely, so I am bringing in Omar Cooper Jr. Now, for the 49ers, I am going to go with Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson. Pretty sure he was like a 4-year starter there. Trent Williams won't be there much longer if he's there this year, so you got to start thinking about how you're going to replace him down the line. Too good of a player. Kenyon Sadiq to the Texans. They should probably work on their offensive line, but best player available overcame anything else there. Now we've got the Kansas City Chiefs on the board, who moved up for Ruben Bain to answer their pass rushing problem. And I am going to have them select Avion Terrell, a player I like a lot. Inside-outside versatility, but I think he's going to be an outside corner first. And they definitely need help. I think their whole corner room went to the Rams, so the Chiefs get some help. Now, the Dolphins, who I had going with Francis Mawanoa for the line, they're happy they did that because they still get a good wide receiver at Denzel Boston. True outside receiver, 6'4", contested catch guy. I like Denzel Boston a lot. Think he could outplay his draft stock. Now we have the Patriots here. I think they're upset. They really would have liked Denzel Boston. I don't like Concepcion there. I don't like Concepcion in the first, if I'm being honest. Wide receiver, edge, linebacker, tight end, safety. I'm going to give them TJ Parker here from Clemson. Just get another body on the defensive line, get another rotational guy in. I think that he's got translatable skills, and where they are on the board right now, I think getting a pass rusher for the rotation would be good. Now, the final pick of the first round, I've got the Seattle Seahawks here, and they just won the Super Bowl, one of the more surprising Super Bowl wins in recent memory. Good for them. They built things the right way. They need edge, they need running back, they need interior offensive line, and corner. Based on value, I am going to go with Colton Hood from Tennessee. All right, y'all. So, that was my mock draft. That was the Goose's mock draft. No special guest here today. Let me know what you thought of the picks down below. I think a lot of these teams could move up, but I didn't want to project too many trades. I think this mock gave a better idea of how I see some guys in terms of their positional ranking. So let me know what you thought down below. Let me know what you think could happen as we head into the draft, what teams could be looking to move up, what player stock could rise or fall. Thank you guys for hanging out today. The Goose is out.